You throw into the mix, which Claire O'Neill, the Labor's immigration minister this week, started talking about, James, a massive increase in the amount of immigration into this country.
650,000.
So you've got a situation where more and more people are pouring in. We're not seeing the infrastructure out in the western suburbs of our cities. They would be asking questions about where these
they should.
Hundreds of thousands of people are going to live.
They should, because, you can increase immigration numbers very quickly because Australia is a wonderful country and people want to live here. And if you increase the cap, you're going to get more people. Now, a lot of these people are going to be students, which puts a particular kind of pressure, onto the housing market. And you've got to wonder how many of these people are studying at, actual sort of universities and how many of them are at some of these academies, which are more sort of about the visas. But beyond that, the question is, where are all these people going to live? There's no increase in housing approvals scheduled for the next 2 to 3, 4, 5 years that's going to meet the demand for all of this. So on the rental market, which is where we're seeing the most tension, they're just adding much more fuel to the fire. This is going to wind up really wedging, I think, the left on this.
And this is what the woman in Tasmania was screaming about, was why are you building a stadium when we don't have enough public housing? So you're right, James, from the left, this could be really problematic for Albanese. This massive increase, Rita, in immigration, we know that, the downside is in the western suburbs of our cities where that hurts the most. But I wonder, Rita...
And some of those mayors are saying we're full.
Yeah,
some of those mayors who are, let me point out, of ethnic origins themselves, they're not being racist, they're just looking around and going, we're full. 650,000 in 2 years. It's an enormous number, biggest increase we're going to see in our history. And some of these fools just do not seem to understand the most basic economic principle of supply and demand, that when you increase demand, as you're going to be doing for housing, and supply isn't catching up with that, you're going to see prices skyrocket further. Rents are going to go up further.
And this is actually where the Ponzi scheme comes undone, because for years now we have had very large migration intakes, which is fine, except for the fact that your GDP per person hasn't gone up. In fact, quality of life in a lot of those places in western suburbs has gone down. And this is where the whole thing gets unstuck.
Well, you see increased economic activity, but you don't actually see increased productivity or wealth.